The quiet storm behind her iced morning sun rose like any other in Los Angeles. Golden rays spilled across the pavement, soft and warm, but they could not reach the sadness in Anna's eyes. The crew on set moved quickly, setting lights, checking marks, adjusting props, but Anna sat quietly in her chair, staring at nothing. Her script was in her lap, untouched. Her coffee had gone cold. No one dared to disturb her. Something was different about her today. She wasn't late, she wasn't angry, she wasn't complaining, she was just ... silent. And that silence screamed louder than words ever could. The makeup artist hovered nearby, unsure if she should approach. The director whispered to the assistant, wondering if they should cancel the scene. Still photographer, sensing something off, put down his camera. No one knew what had happened to Anna. No one dared to ask, except Keanu. He had arrived quietly, as he always did. No entourage, no sunglasses, no noise. He walked onto the set like a breeze that barely stirred the air. And when he saw Anna sitting alone, her shoulders slumped forward, her hands gripping the script like it was her only anchor. He didn't speak, he didn't smile. He simply sat down beside her. Anna didn't look at him. He didn't force her to. They sat there in silence for 5 whole minutes, then 10. The crew glanced over, wondering what was going on. The assistant director tapped her watch. The lighting. Guy raised an eyebrow, but Keanu didn't move. And slowly, that silence between them became something softer, like a blanket, or a hand held out without pressure. Finally, Anna spoke. Her voice was almost too soft to hear. "I didn't sleep." Keanu nodded once, gently, didn't ask why. Anna's voice cracked just slightly. "I saw something last night, something I can't unsee." She didn't need to explain. Keanu didn't ask her to. He simply turned his head and looked at her, his expression open, patient, and kind. Anna wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "I don't want to cry in front of them," she whispered. "Then don't," Keanu said softly. "But it's okay if you do." That was all he said, but it was enough. The makeup artist pretended to check something in her kit, pretending not to listen. The director stepped back, giving them space. No one interrupted. Anna's fingers loosened around the script. She let it fall into her lap. The cold coffee tipped over and dripped onto the ground. She didn't care. She took a breath. Not a deep one, not a brave one, just a breath. And it felt like breathing for the first time in hours. "I keep thinking about this girl I passed on the street," she said slowly. "She couldn't have been more than 10. She had no shoes." Keanu nodded, but he didn't speak. "Her mother was asleep on a piece of cardboard," Anna continued. "People just ... stepped over them. No one looked. No one cared." Her voice trembled again. "I should have done something. I walked past too." Keanu looked down at his own shoes, old and worn. Not designer, not flashy. They looked like they had walked miles. "Sometimes," he said finally, "we carry the weight of what we didn't do harder than what we did." Anna looked at him then, really looked at him. There was no judgment in his eyes, just understanding. Deep, quiet understanding. "You ever wish you could go back?" she asked. Keanu smiled gently. Every day. They sat together for a few more minutes, and in that stillness, Anna began to shift. Her back straightened. Her hands relaxed. She reached down and picked up the tipped coffee cup, placing it on the ground beside her. Keanu stood first. He didn't offer her his hand. He just waited. Anna stood next. Slowly, but with strength, they walked to set together, side by side. No words, no spotlight, but something had changed. The director whispered, "We're rolling in 5. Anna stepped into her mark. The camera began to move. The lights warmed her face. Someone called action. And for the first time that day, ... Anna smiled. Not big, not bright, but real. And it was Keanu who stood just behind the camera, his hands in his pockets, nodding slowly. He hadn't told her what to feel. He hadn't told her how to fix it. He had just been there, and that was more than enough. Sometimes, the deepest kindness is not loud. Sometimes the greatest gift is presence. In that day, in the middle of cameras and scripts and the noise of Hollywood, Anna's smile returned, not because someone told her to be strong, but because someone was strong enough to stay silent beside her storm. The sound of kindness no one hardened next morning on set felt different. Lighter, calmer. The crew moved with a little more patience. The camera assistant, who usually rushed through focus checks, offered Anna a warm smile. The makeup artist brought 2 kinds of tea, just in case. No one said it out loud, but everyone had noticed the small shift in the air. Anna showed up earlier than usual. Her eyes still held shadows. But she greeted people softly. She helped a junior assistant carry a box of scripts. She even laughed once, quietly, when someone tripped over a sandbag and said that was my best scene all week. But she still hadn't spoken much to Keanu, not because she was avoiding him. She simply didn't know how to say thank you for something that didn't have a name. He hadn't asked for gratitude. He hadn't even mentioned the day before, and that made it even more powerful. They were filming an emotional scene that day. It was a close-up of Anna's character, sitting alone in a cafe, remembering someone she had lost. The director wanted stillness, quiet emotion, something raw and delicate. Anna sat at the table as the cameras rolled. She stared down at the coffee cup in her hands. The world around her blurred. The set disappeared, and in her mind, she saw that girl again, the one without shoes. Tears welled up in her eyes, real tears. They rolled down her cheeks without force. No acting, just feeling. When the director called cut, the set stayed silent for a full 5 seconds. Even the boom mic operator blinked in ActsOfKindness. Anna looked up, her vision still blurry, and saw Keanu standing just off screen. He nodded once. Not approval, not applause, just presence. Again that night, Anna stayed behind after wrap. The sun had already gone down, and the studio lights were slowly dimming. She walked through the empty set, running her hand along the fake cafe table. The plastic coffee mug still warm from her hand. She found Keanu outside, sitting on the steps near the parking lot. He had a book in his lap. It was closed. He looked up and smiled gently when she walked over. "You were incredible today," he said softly. Anna shook her head. "That wasn't acting." "I know." She sat beside him, just like he had done for her the day before. They didn't speak for a while. The sky above them was dark and open, filled with stars barely visible through the city haze. Anna finally whispered, "I don't want to forget that little girl." "You won't," Keanu replied. "But what can I do?" He looked at her thoughtfully, then pointed to the sky. "You see that star?" Anna squinted. "Which one?" "The one that looks like it's flickering." "Yeah, it's a satellite," he said. "Tiny, made by humans, just floating out there. People forget about them. What? But sometimes they help guide ships in the dark." Anna turned to him, her brows furrowed. "You don't have to fix everything," he continued. "Sometimes you just have to shine where you are. Quietly, constantly." Anna looked down at her hands. They were trembling. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Me too," Keanu said, almost smiling. "But scared doesn't mean weak." They sat there as cars rolled past in the distance. A cold breeze brushed against their skin. Anna hugged her knees to her chest, and Keanu gently took off his jacket and placed it over her shoulders. She didn't say thank you. She didn't need to. He didn't expect her to. After a moment, she spoke again. "Do you ever feel like you're pretending too well?" Keanu nodded slowly. "Every actor has. The truth is, the best ones don't pretend. They just open a window inside themselves and let the wind in." "Exactly." Anna smiled again, this time a little bigger. Not because she was happy, not because the pain was gone, but because something inside her had changed. It was like a door had opened, letting light in through the smallest crack. Keanu stood up and offered his hand. This time, she took it. They walked together to their cars. The parking lot was nearly empty. The night was cold, but the silence between them was warm. Before she opened her door, Anna paused. "I want to do something," she said, "for that girl, for her mom, for others like them." Keanu tilted his head. What kind of something? I don't know yet. But something real. Keanu nodded. When you figure it out, he said, I'll help. Anna blinked. You would, of course, he said. We're all connected, even to the ones we pass on the street. And with that, he stepped into his car and drove away. Anna stood still for a long time, her hand on the door. She didn't feel lost anymore, just ... beginning. And sometimes that's even more powerful. One small step becomes 1,000th next morning. Anna didn't go straight to set. She walked to the same corner she had passed days ago, the one where the little girl with no shoes had been lying beside her sleeping mother. Her heart pounded. As she got closer, unsure of what she'd find, maybe they were gone. Maybe it was too late, but they were there. The mother was sitting up now, her eyes hollow, her hands wrapped around a torn blanket. The little girl had her head resting in her mother's lap. Anna froze for a moment, unsure of what to say, how to start, or even if they would trust her. Then she remembered Keanu's words. Just shine where you are. So she stepped forward. Hi, Anna said gently. The mother looked up slowly, eyes wary. She said nothing. Anna kneeled down on the pavement, lowering herself to their level. I saw you here a few nights ago, she continued softly. I wanted to say something then. Didn't. I'm sorry. Still no reply. Anna reached into her small shoulder bag and pulled out a paper bag. She placed it on the ground between them. There's some food. It's still warm. The little girl opened her eyes and Anna saw something in them. Not hope, not yet, just curiosity. It's quiet, silent curiosity. The mother gave a small nod. It was barely noticeable, but it was there. Anna stood slowly. I'll be nearby every morning this week, she said, just around the corner. If you ever need anything, ... She left the sentence unfinished. She didn't want to make promises she couldn't keep. She didn't want to offer pity. She just wanted to be real. As she walked away, she didn't look back, but she heard a quiet voice behind her. Thank you, Anna blinked and smiled to herself. The mother had spoken. That evening on set, Anna was brighter than usual, not loud. Not overly cheerful, just ... lighter. Her smile came easier. And even during the sad scenes, there was strength in her eyes. Keanu noticed, but didn't ask until she approached him between takes. I saw them again, she said. He knew who she meant. What did you do? Nothing big, Anna said. Just food. But I think I want to do more. Keanu put down his water bottle, like, what? Anna hesitated. I don't know yet. Something small. Maybe collect essentials. Maybe get help from the crew. I don't. Want to start some huge organization or make a media splash? I just want to ... help them live through this week. Keanu smiled. Then let's start with 1 week. Anna looked around the set. The crew was busy, but they weren't cold. They laughed. They shared snacks. They looked out for one another. Maybe they'd help too. The next morning, Anna put up a quiet notice on the craft services table. It wasn't loud or emotional. It simply read, if you have anything, a blanket, a small meal, clean socks, bring it to Anna's trailer. Helping one family this week, nothing big, just kindness. By lunch, her trailer had 3 bags by the end of the day. It had 10 that the director left a fresh jacket. A lighting technician donated to sleeping. Bags, one of the assistants brought storybooks for the little girl. No one bragged. No one took pictures. No one needed attention. It was just kindness, moving quietly through the set like a hidden wind, and every night. After wrapping up her scenes, Anna would drive to the same street corner and leave something behind. Sometimes she saw the mother, sometimes the girl. Once they were both gone, but she left something anyway, hoping they'd return. On the 4th night, the little girl handed Anna a drawing, a stick figure girl with a huge smile, holding hands. With another taller figure beside her, Anna stared at it for a long time, heart swelling. Is this me? She asked gently. The girl nodded. You smiled in my dream, the girl whispered. Anna bent down and hugged her carefully. Not too tight, tears filled her eyes. But this time, They were soft. Healing later that week during a scene between takes. Anna sat beside Keanu again. She showed him the drawing. He stared at it quietly for a moment. Then he said, "That's a good artist." Anna laughed. "I think I needed her more than she needed me," she said. "It's often like that," Keanu replied. Anna tilted her head. "Have you ever done something like this?" He thought for a second. "I've helped people, but never." "Organized anything? Then this is our first time together." Keanu looked at her, serious but warm. "I'm proud of you." Anna didn't reply. She just smiled. That same real smile he had waited 4 days ago. The one that wasn't for. The camera's the one that came from somewhere deeper. Somewhere she hadn't touched in a long time. The studio lights blinked back on, and the director called out for positions. Anna stood up and adjusted her mic. Keanu followed behind. As they walked toward the scene, he said one last thing. "You didn't just bring her a blanket. You brought her back a piece of herself." Anna turned and looked at him. "You did that for me," she said softly. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. His silence said it all. Her kindness was quiet, but the city noticed said. Next few days moved in gentle rhythm. Anna kept visiting the street corner, always leaving something small behind. A sandwich, a warm scarf, a children's book. She never stayed too long, never asked too much, but every time she showed up, the little girl's eyes lit up a little more. Her mother began to speak more to short words, soft thank yous, eyes less afraid. The crew had noticed Anna's change, but no one spoke about it directly. Still, more bags started appearing at her trailer. One day, a costume designer left a pair of kids' boots, brand new. Another day, a sound technician offered a reusable bag full of canned food. Anna wrote a small thank you note and placed it under a cup of coffee beside the soundboard the next morning. One quiet act led to another. No posts on social media, no hashcasts, no interviews, just kindness. Passed hand to hand like folded paper in a classroom one evening, after shooting a heavy scene under the rain machines, Anna walked back to her trailer, soaked and exhausted. When she stepped inside, she found something on the small table, a folded towel, a fresh hoodie, and a note written in Keanu's handwriting. For warm skin and a warm soul. Kana smiled and hugged the towel against her chest. She didn't change right away. She just sat there, water dripping from her hair. Heart filled with something she hadn't felt in years. Peace she remembered when she first came to Los Angeles. The auditions, the crowded rooms, the fake smiles, the deep loneliness. She had always been good at hiding it. But deep down, she had felt like a small boat trying to stay afloat in a storm no one else could see. Now, somehow she didn't feel alone anymore. Not because she had fixed everything, but because someone had stood beside her storm without trying to take it away. Keanu was that kind of person. He never offered advice unless asked, never tried to impress anyone, never acted like a hero. But he showed up. Every time. Quiet, calm, consistent. One night, as they wrapped up late, Anna found him sitting on a bench behind the studio. The city lights glowed softly in the distance. The hum of traffic mixed with the quiet buzz of electric signs nearby. She sat beside him and said, "I think people are noticing." Keanu turned to her. "Noticing what?" "What's happening on set." "What we're doing?" He paused. "Does that worry you?" "No," she said honestly. "It just feels strange. Like I wanted to keep it small, quiet. But now the director asked if he could help. And one of the producers left an envelope full of meal vouchers." Keanu nodded. Kindness grows. Even when you plant just one seed. Anna leaned back. "But what? If it becomes too big? What if people start treating it like a project instead of a feeling?" Keanu looked up at the stars, then remind them why it started. Anna was quiet for a moment, then said, "I didn't smile that day because I forgot how it felt to be seen. Really seen." Keanu glanced at her gently. "You see others now. Maybe that's the gift." "I want to keep it real," Anna whispered. "Then, do it in silence," he replied. "Let your actions speak." The next morning, Anna did something different. Instead of just delivering things, She sat down on the pavement beside the little girl and her mother. She brought coloring books. They sat together and colored for almost 20 minutes. Cars passed. People stared. But Anna didn't care. When she stood to leave, the girl hugged her around the waist. Tight, warm, full of trust. Anna blinked fast, holding back tears. "I'll be back," she said softly. The girl nodded. "I know." On set, the director approached. Anna gently between takes. "I heard what you've been doing," he said. "It's beautiful." Anna smiled a little. "Thank you." "I was thinking," he said slowly, "what if we added a charity mention during the credits of our next project? Not for publicity, just to give people an option to help." Hesitated, then nodded. "That would be nice." That night, she told Keanu about it. He listened carefully, then said, "You're not just giving things now. You're giving others a way to be kind to." Anna looked at him. But I didn't plan this." "The best things aren't planned," he said. "Do you ever feel like the world is just ... too broken?" Keanu leaned forward, elbows on knees, all the time. "But every broken piece has an edge that catches light." Anna smiled. "You always talk in quiet poetry," he chuckled. "I talk in silence. You just hear it like poetry." They sat there for a while longer. No scripts, no lights, just people. And in that soft darkness, Anna realized something deep inside her smile hadn't just returned. It had changed. It had grown roots. It wasn't just a mask for the camera. Anymore, it was something alive. And it had started with someone who said nothing, but stayed anyway. The smile she gave away without losing her owns. Following week arrived with soft clouds and quiet winds. Something gentle had settled over Anna's life. Her routine was simple now. She filmed during the day. In the evenings, she visited the corner. Sometimes she brought food, sometimes just time. She didn't go with big plans. She went with an open heart. Keanu never asked questions, but he always seemed to know how she was doing. If she looked tired, he'd leave tea outside her trailer. If she looked cold, he'd leave a folded hoodie on her chair. Once, during a lunch break, he sat beside her and said nothing at all. And somehow, that meant more than any speech ever could. Anna's connection with the little girl had grown, too. Her name was Amelia. Her mother's name was Dora. Anna only learned that because one day she brought a small notebook and said, "If I draw you, will you tell me your names?" Amelia giggled and nodded. She drew Amelia with wings, and Dora with stars in her eyes. "My mom used to sing," Amelia whispered, "but she doesn't anymore." Anna looked at Dora. Dora turned away. The next evening, Anna brought a small battery-powered radio and played soft old songs from her own childhood. Amelia started to hum then, for the first time. Dora sang, very quietly, but the notes carried in the evening wind like a forgotten memory being remembered. Anna didn't record it. She just closed her eyes and listened. That night, on her way back to the car, she found Keanu leaning against her. Vehicle, waiting. "How did you know I was here?" she asked. "You've been glowing lately," he said. "I followed the light." Anna laughed. "That's the cheesiest thing you've ever said." But true. She leaned against the car beside him. "You're starting to feel like family." "That's because you stopped seeing them as strangers." Anna looked up at the sky. "Do you think more people just stopped for a moment, this world would be softer?" "Not softer," Keanu replied, "but more human." She was quiet for a while then. She asked, "What about you, Keanu? Who makes you smile when you forget how?" He took a long breath. "I don't always have someone," he said honestly. "But sometimes silence helps me remember." "You've given me a lot of silence," Anna said softly. "And you filled it with light," he answered. The next morning, Anna brought Amelia a pair of new shoes. Not expensive, just clean, warm, colorful. Amelia's eyes widened like stars. "They're mine?" she asked. "All yours," Anna said. The girl hugged her tightly. Anna knelt down and whispered, "Now you can run wherever you want." Amelia stepped back and looked at her shoes like they were made of magic. Then she did something Anna didn't expect. She took off one shoe, held it up, and said, "You wear it first." Anna blinked. "But they're yours." "You made me smile," Amelia said, "so I want you to wear them too. Just once." Anna smiled and gently slid her foot into the tiny shoe. It barely fit. They both laughed. Dora laughed too. It was a real, unguarded sound. Anna looked up and saw Dora's eyes shining. "You brought her smile back," Dora whispered. Anna's heart trembled. "She brought mine back too." Later that night, Anna shared the story with Keanu over a quiet dinner on the studio rooftop. The sun was setting, painting the sky in soft oranges and deep pinks. Keanu listened, his eyes warm. "Do you see what's happening?" he said. "What do you mean?" "You didn't just give something away," he said. "You found something too." Anna thought for a moment. "I gave away my smile," she said slowly, "but somehow, I didn't lose it. It got stronger." "How kindness works," Keanu said. "It doesn't leave you empty. It leaves you full." Anna leaned her head back and looked at the sky. "I think I want to do more," she said. "Not just for Amelia and Dora, for others too, but still in silence, still quietly." "I just want people to feel seen," Keanu nodded. "Then we do it together? Together?" She looked at him, surprised. "Yeah," he said. "We'll find more corners, more forgotten people, and we won't fix them. We'll stand with them." Anna smiled, not just with her lips, with her whole self. And for the first time in a long time, she realized that the smile inside her had turned into something more. It had become a bridge between silence and kindness, between SP and healing, between strangers who decided to stop and see each other. The smile that never left against the last day of shooting arrived with a soft morning breeze and the scent of coffee drifting across the lot. The final scene was an emotional one, the farewell between two characters who had changed each other's lives. There was a quiet stillness on set. Even the crew felt the weight of it. Anna stood by herself, looking out at the sunrise over the city skyline. She was wearing her character's final outfit, but in her heart, she wasn't acting anymore. Something real had been happening all along behind the scenes, where cameras couldn't see. Her life had shifted quietly, deeply in the space. Between silence and kindness, Keanu walked up beside her, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You ready?" he asked. Anna took a breath. "I think so. I feel like I've already lived this scene." Keanu nodded. "Because you have." They didn't say anything more. They just walked to their marks together. The cameras rolled, the lines were spoken, emotions were real. And when the director finally called cut, everyone stood in silence for a moment, as if afraid to break the magic that had just happened. Then the crew applauded. But Anna didn't look at them. She looked at Keanu, and he simply smiled. "Itara!" Same way he had smiled on the day she forgot how later that afternoon, as the cast and crew packed up and said their goodbyes. Anna slipped away for one final visit to the corner where it all began. Amelia and Dora were gone. The space where they used to sit was empty, clean. A small handwritten note lay tucked under a cracked brick. Anna picked it up carefully. It read, "We found a shelter. Someone helped us. You were the first. I will never forget your face or your smile. Love, Amelia." Anna pressed the note to her heart. She didn't cry. Not because she wasn't moved, but because her heart was full in a different way now, strong, complete. As she turned to leave, she found Keanu standing across the street. He hadn't said he was coming. He didn't need to. He always seemed to know when to show up. "They're safe," she said, "because you showed up." "'Cause we did," she corrected. He nodded. They walked together in silence back toward the parking lot, the streetlight blinking overhead. Anna turned to him and said, "I don't think I'll ever forget this." "Not any of it." "Good," he said gently, "because it's not over." She tilted her head. "This was just the beginning," Keanu continued. "You found your smile again? Now maybe, it's time to help others find theirs." Anna looked ahead at the long road stretching out from the sidewalk. For the first time in years, she didn't feel lost. She felt found, not by chance, not by fame, but by kindness, by silence, by presence. That night, as the city lights flickered to life, Anna opened her notebook and began to write something new.
Not a script.
Not a speech, just an idea, a simple one, to create something small. Quiet network that connected people with small hearts full of big kindness. No cameras, no media, just people helping people. Keanu agreed to help, not in front, not as a face, but as a quiet light in the background, like he had always been. Weeks later, the small idea became a growing spark. Actors, crew members, even strangers who'd never met Anna began leaving things in quiet. Corners, food, blankets, shoes, handwritten notes, no signatures, no glory, just kindness. Anna's smile never faded again, because now it wasn't just hers. It lived in Amelia, in Dora, in the people who had nothing, and found someone who cared, in a man who said nothing, never left, and in a woman who had once forgotten to smile, but remembered how because someone waited beside her storm without a word.